What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. This is Betting with the Bag. Apologies for starting 5 minutes late. A tech issue here at the office. Apologies for that. Thank you for your patience. We have a giant card. No time to be 5 minutes late. I'm rocking my Boss and the Sauce shirt tonight. We're starting Wednesday night live shows with Ragu, DJ Big Boss, and myself. We're going to be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time sharp, and only going for about an hour and a half. It's not going to be an all-night show, but I'm very excited about working with them. We're going to go over all our NFL and NCAA football looks, go over our Pick 6 looks. It is the Playoff Drive Live Pick 6 show tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, and every Wednesday night throughout the regular season moving forward. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat: Nicholas Fogg, Vinny Cornell, Dave Bosky, Smooth Godwin in the house, Deer Slayer Ski, Ronald Durant, Matt Randall, Alex Mowbray, Walla Walla Dose, Dan Kelly, Paco Healy, Ronnie Christie, Cobra Sports 609, Lizo, Seth, Carlos Perot, Parlo Marquez. What a great group. Reese, Prince of the City, Paco Healy. Incredible group. Michael Irvelina. I'd like to go further, but we have too much work to do. First off, yesterday in NHL was disappointing. My morning looks were very strong. And then my additions were awful. My 3 additions were awful. It cost me winning night. Cost me quite a bit of cash. I would have had a nice, profitable night, but it was a bad night. And my 4 college basketball plays I added lost, one by 1 point, one by a half point, which will happen. So very easily could have been 2 and 2. I lost the McCollum prop. It was a disappointing night. I'm hoping to get after it right now. We have 2 NHL games. I've already made a move on one of them. Then we're going to have Jay Money joining us. He was going to join us at 11:15 Eastern. We're going to have to push that back 5 minutes to 11:20 Eastern. So that will be in 12 minutes. So that gives me 12 minutes to break down these 2 games. If I can get through them a little bit quicker, we will move to Jay Money as soon as possible. Mr. Ghoster says, how about them sends, Jimmy? Nice job, Mr. Ghoster. I thought the Wings were the play here. The Wings blew up my face. The Predators blew up my face. The Flames blew up my face. But, the Stars and Panthers were easy cashers. Ronnie Christie said, I told you guys Jets plus 170 was ours to get. Yeah, great job, Ronnie Christie. Respect. And, you have to trust your gut. You have to trust your capping. You don't want to go down on somebody else's sword. You want to be the one to fuck up in battle, not somebody else that costs you your life or costs you your bet. So, Ronnie Christie back in the Jets, believing the Jets. Who cares that I'm on the Predators? Who cares that I've got that look? Trust yourself, trust your instincts, and that was a great job by you last night. Richard says, worst night all year. Rare losing night for me. Yeah, I almost never see you lose. Edmonton Moneyline was a great bet. Team totals was a great bet as well. Farouk, they know. They know. It's never clear how much they know, but they know about what's going on. They know about the spread. They know about the totals generally. But it's an interesting question. And I wish we had more time to talk about it. And Reese says Eastern Michigan rolled last night. Yeah, Teddy getting us on Eastern Michigan. Those of you who had the balls to go on the money line, respect. I just cashed that plus 5.5, but all good. Let's get after it right now. First, let's start off with my NHL record, 3-5 yesterday, 2 plus lines, but I'm no longer double-digit units up in NHL or NBA. NHL not where I want it to be. Plus 8.57 units, that's fine. That's fine, and we will get after it. Let's get after it right now. Senators, Habs, Anderson, Kincaid is what I am expecting. Let's get the best odds page on the planet up right now. I'm all prepared for our guy, Jay Money, because that's where it really is happening here today. It's with this giant NBA card that we are going to be destroying. But let's go after this NHL spot right now. I have a play on the other game, but let's go through this Habs Senators game. Had the Habs played better last night, I see the Habs as a fade moving forward. I don't think they have a lot of depth. When I go over their roster, I'm like, man, how are they winning? And they continue to win. And guys like Mohamed Jomar continue to be right about the Canadians. But now they lose Druin and Byron, and I think they're going to start losing. Do I want to back the Senators 3-7-1 on the road after a big win for them last night? No, I don't want to, and that's going to hold me off that. Topset says more live shows, drinking hours extended. Yes. Colv Coleon says, come on, Jimmy, tighten up. Look, Colv Coleon, I put out 5 early plays. You tweeted at me. You were like, man, love having your early plays. And those cashed nicely. But I added plays because I needed to add them. I didn't feel like I was reaching. They were wrong. and they're not all going to be winning nights, and I'm going to get after it right now. But I hear you, Cole Leon. Sens scoring 2.81 goals per game, allowing 3.24. Habs scoring 3.43, allowing 3.14. I expect their offense to dry up without Drouin. I really, really do. Sens still have an 8.3% power play. So are they going to be able to take advantage of the Habs 71.25% penalty killing? Is Craig Anderson a better goalie than Keith Kincaid? Those of you who want to make moves on either team, I can understand it. I can understand backing Montreal because of their loss last night, but I just think Ottawa's just going to come after them early. But I'm afraid to make that move. I want to move over to NHL and just look. I mean, this would be an Ottawa or no play, but it's going to be a no play. This is not the type of situation where, the Ottawa feeling good about themselves. And we have some first periods coming out. Let me get a money line first period right now for this Senators squad. And you're getting plus 150 at Bovada. It's not open at my book yet. I may make a move on Senators first period. I may make a move, but I don't. This is an angry Habs team, and I just RMK leaning over says Sens for me here. We'll lean some on the reverse puck line. Rich is on the over 6.5 on a back-to-back. Dave Tremillo took the aisle straight up yesterday. Great job. And I wouldn't take the over, personally. I wouldn't take the over. Dan Clay saying a rule of thumb: when you like a football dog at +5 or +5.5, always put money on the money line. 5 means the books don't have a good handle on the game. What is a 5 in football? 3, 4, 6 means something, but 5, that's very, very interesting. Yenny Toon says Sens on fire. And Rod Zwacky says my 10-star plays on Ottawa money line if it's Kincaid in net. See, I don't hate on Kincaid. And then Sam 4.24 goals against average, 87 save percentage. That's a small sample size right now. Eddie Euler leaning towards the Capitals Rangers over. That is my first play. I'm going heads up with Eddie Euler. I'm on the under 6.5 in that game, and I got plus 118 at Bet Online for show purposes. I bet it at plus 110, and I really like it. I really like this under 6.5 here at plus money. It's a very, it's one of the spots that I love to attack. Let me get to full game totals right here and see what they've done with it since I made that bet. And it's gone down a little. Actually, no, it hasn't. UWagers just moved that to plus 120. Wow. Bet365's moved that to minus 135 to plus 115. All right, let's talk about. So Lundqvist getting 2 starts in a row. He wants that. He wants 2 starts in a row. He wants to get comfortable. Holtby's playing very well right now. So what happened in the Rangers game against the Panthers was Quinn benched Buchnevich and Haley for taking penalties that led to power play goals. So he benched Buchnevich, and then they waived Haley. Haley's not on the Rangers anymore. You think Quinn's being serious about penalties, especially lazy offensive penalties? Haley lost his job over it. Buchnevich was benched. This is quote unquote from Quinn. If you take a lazy penalty, you're going to get benched. And I should have done that 16 games ago. All right? So there's the first part about why I like that Lundqvist is going back-to-back. Well, not back-to-back days, but back-to-back games. I like that Quinn is angry. Very, very angry about this spot for the Capitals. Also, Garnet Hathaway earned an automatic suspension for spitting at Erica Branson. So Garnet Hathaway for the Caps got a suspension, and they're going to be a player down. They have no extra players tonight. They've already maxed out the salary cap, so they're going to be a player short. Now, I know that's not a big deal, but I expect the Capitals to keep it pretty simple here if they're going to have 11 forwards. Also, New York is 7-1-1 when allowing 3 goals or fewer. They're 1-7-1 when allowing 4 goals or more. They are not going to get in the shootout with the Washington Capitals tonight. They are not going to get in a shootout with the Capitals tonight. There's Viper MB in the house. Richie Rich says Washington under 6.5 is a play. Give me Rangers team total and under. Rangers are a live home dog here. And Carlos Pro says, let's do it again. Take the under on my Capitals. We did it last time, remember? Yes, and look, we're getting a giant plus line. Eddie Euler, I don't care about what the previous games against these two teams. I'm capping this game as an individual situation. First off, Lundqvist is losing his job to Georgiev, and now he gets a chance in 2 straight games. First off. Secondly, Quinn just cut Haley. You think Quinn's messing around? He's not messing around. We're getting a giant plus line on the under 6.5. I was like, man, this is nuts that they're daring us to take the under here. Daring us to take the under. plus 120 at U-Wager. Intertops has brought it down to plus 105. That's the worst line you can get. Pinnacle's dropped it to plus 109. So at Pinnacle, there's been a 1 cent move to the under. I do not expect to be sitting here on the late show seeing sevens. I'm shocked that this, I really thought, I was like, you know what? I do not expect people to hammer this over after what the Rangers have just done. All that said and done, that's my play in NHL. Big plus line on the under 6.5. And Richie Rich says the whole world is on the over. I'm shocked at it. All right, so Freddie, why don't we give Jay Money a call now? We've broken those 2 games down. Why don't we give him a call now? There's Stu in the house. Thank you for joining us. We got a great group here, and we have a giant NBA card that we will be capping with Jay Money is Money. When you get a chance as well, Freddie, can you pop up my NBA record? It's not looking nearly as good as it once was. We're only up a little over 6 units. Ronnie Christie says 4-3 OT win push. Yeah. Look, it's a play that was screaming at me. Was to jump on this under 6.5. And you're getting plus 120. Mr. Ghost says, make room. I'm on that under, Jim. This is a nice setup for us for a plus line. And I love getting under these 6.5s. But you guys know that I do have a penchant for wanting to be on the under 6.5s. I've not made 1 over 6.5 all year. I almost did last night, and I held off on Vegas Toronto. Good thing I held off. Lundqvist is about to lose his job, and David Quinn is not messing around. Rangers are going to play tight. Okay, there you have it. Let's go on to NBA right now. We have our guy, Star of Jammin', with Jay Money here to break down all of these NBA games with us. Please welcome to the show, Jay Money in the house, a.k.a. Revenge Game. Jay, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good, Jimmy. What about you, man? I'm not doing too bad. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm freshly medicated. You know, hey, I'm ready to get to some money, man. I'm seeing the board. I feel like I'm seeing the board real well right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it.
Let's get after it, man. I'm happy to have you on the show. Love having you on the show, and I love your show. Monday to Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Let's get after it right now. We're going to break down each and every one of these NBA games. We have 32 minutes. Let's work together, the chat, Jay Money, myself, and let's get that paper right this second. We're going to start with Spurs-Wizards. Spurs-Wizards. We're going to spreads and totals at sportsbookreview.com, the SBR odds page, the best in the business. Spurs open up -2. They're 2.5 at Pinnacle. There's still quite a bit of twos. This total opened up at 239.5. Now is at 237. Spurs have lost 8 of 9, 6 in a row, longest streak since 2011. DeMar DeRozan goes off for 36 in that loss to Dallas on Monday. Bradley Beal can be slowed down by these Spurs, but he's been playing very good. They have 44-point back-to-back performances, then 34-point effort in that 125-121 loss to Orlando. The Wizards get beaten up in the paint. They get out-rebounded. These are all things the Spurs can do to them. Do we expect the Spurs to break their losing streak here tonight, Jay?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, the Spurs pretty much kill them boys in rebounds. And you look at the Spurs, they've lost 6 straight games. You know what I'm saying? You look at the past 5 games, the Wizards are in offensive efficiency, they're 29th, and defensive efficiency, they're 28th. You know what I'm saying? So they bottom of the league in both categories. It's not a bet-on situation. They are at the house, but you see the Spurs are favored after losing 6 straight games. That's the only way I could look in this spot. If you look at it, the Spurs actually been playing well the past 2 games. You know what I'm saying? A couple close losses. The game versus the Mavs, the game where I watched, you know what I'm saying, was right down the street from me. They really had a chance to win that game late if it wasn't for Luka hitting that step back 3. They didn't go away. They were down 20 a couple of times in that game and just kept fighting. Obviously, they lost their last home game to the Blazers. But if this is a spot here where if I was to bet it, I can only take the Spurs here. I hadn't bet it yet, but the Spurs, they're not looking good whatsoever right now. It's tough to lay money, you know what I'm saying, to lay money on them, whether they were the 2-point favorite underdog in this spot. They are 7-1 straight up the last 8 meetings versus the Wizards, and 20-6 ATS versus the Wizards. So, and we know that if they can out-rebound them, they will get the win. I might make a play on the Spurs here, but it's going to be tough, man. I know they're tired of losing. They hadn't lost this many games since like 2005 or something. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how this game goes. We know that the Wizards can be pesky, but I'm staying away from the Spurs. Nothing for me.
Spurs are nothing. I agree. I thought the Wizards also played the Magic tough, even though they get beaten up in the paint and out-rebounded. So the Wizards, who are poorest defensively, averaging 120.1 points allowed, and also with just 43.2 rebounds. We just saw DeMar wake up against Dallas on Monday, and I predict DeMar DeRozan has a big game we have a total at 237 now from 239. I'm getting 22.5 points for DeMar DeRozan over. And I think he gets over 22.5 points. I think this is a perfect game for DeMar DeRozan to light it up and to not be scared about taking shot after shot, knowing that they're going to get a ton of offensive rebounds. What do you think about DeMar going off tonight?
Well, I mean, shit, the Wizards are a good defensive team, period. So, I don't see who's going to stop them out there. Not Troy Brown Jr. I mean, Bradley Beal might take it up to Stigum, but I doubt it, man. I mean, the Wizards are one of those teams where they don't really care about defense, man. But one thing I can say, I think if the Spurs are coming to win this game, then they will play some defense. You see that total, it's ticking down. Money coming in on that under. I can't bet an under in this spot, but it seems like, some people liking it. I like that prop. I might have to ride with you on that. Obviously, they're going to need DeMar DeRozan to elevate his game for them to get this win here. They had their backs against the wall. You see, like you say, it's moving to 2.5. I'm liking that over 22 points. I might have to ride with you on that one.
I like it. I like it. As soon as I watched him against Dallas, I was like, okay, he knows he could get shipped out of here. And he's stepping up right now, and I expect him to get hot. He's also not a guy who has a great game, bad game. He's not like Zeke Elliott. He's not 150 yards or 40 yards. I think this is right in his wheelhouse. Dutch Boy Fresh says if he can't score 22 against this team, just stop. That's my first bet of the day. DeMar DeRozan over 22.5 points. I'm not line shopping. We don't have time for that. Minus 120 at my book. That's where I'm going to have to bet it at. Let's move on to Knicks Sixers. Sixers. New York opening as 12-point dogs. They're now 12.5-point dogs. This total opened up at 213.5. It's now 212.5 or 212. So the Sixers are about to be at home for 13 of the next 18, and they're 4-0 at home. Are they going to get on a roll? Ben Simmons has taken 2 shots all season from 16 feet or beyond. He has not taken a three-pointer all season. Tobias Harris was in a big slump from 3. He's kind of got out of it against the Cavs for 1 game. And then with this Knicks, Julius Randle has a great game. But can we expect that to continue? RJ Barrett a little banged up, but he's expected to play tonight. Knicks had 54 points in the paint against Cleveland in that 123-105 win on Monday, but there was no Love or Nance, and we know who's in the paint for the Sixers. That's not going to be easy for them. How are you handling Knicks Sixers?
So I want to ask you a question, Jimmy. Through the 76ers past 5 games, do they look like they should be laying this amount of points?
Not at all.
There's no way in hell that I could. I mean, the only way I could look at it in this one is Knicks. Obviously, you got Fizdale fighting for his job over there. Knicks been playing scrappy. You won 2 out of their last 3 games. You know what I'm saying? One of those games versus the Mavericks, who are pretty, elite team, have some elite players over there. Had a nice win versus the Cavs. You know what I'm saying? The Kevin Love was out in that spot, but still, they showed up. We saw them lose those type of games before. Lost a heartbreaker versus the Hornets. They could be 3-0 here straight. You know what I'm saying? Straight up in the past 3 games. Only way I could look here is the Knicks, man. The 76ers have not looked well, man. I mean, the last time they were at the house, the last 2 times they were at the house, because they are coming off a 3-game road trip, their first game back. It was 98-97 versus the Cavs, and then 114-106 versus the Hornets. In my opinion, I mean, not really the Cavs, but I mean, they're the same type of tier team that the Knicks are. You know what I'm saying? Scrappy team. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see them cover their spread, them to win a game. I'm not ready to lay these points with the 76ers. Obviously, they're the better team, but I might have to. I mean, I was looking at this shit last night. I might have to hop on the Knicks. I mean, obviously the 76ers are absolutely on the Knicks, man. They've won 8 straight meetings against them in 9 of 10. You know what I'm saying? They're allowing 98 points per game at the house. Obviously playing good defense, but like I say, those past 2 home games against really, you know what I'm saying, lower tier teams, it scares me, man. They shouldn't be laying this type of point spread. 1-4 ATS last 5 games, man. It's Knicks or nothing here for me. I know the 76ers are a public team. I know this one might even go up to 13, team, man. I might have to hop on the Knicks here, man. They're scrappy, and obviously Fizdale, no, he has to show up in these type of games. They can't come in here and get blown out, even though, you know what I'm saying, on paper, in theory, 76ers are a better team, but they hadn't been showing it against some weaker foes of late. So I lean to the Knicks here plus all these points.
I am too. Ronald Durante says, my play today in NBA here. Says, I hate laying double digits with the Sixers, but Sixers win by 25. Stu says plus 7.5. Knicks first half. Richard Lee also says Knicks first half. They come out right away. John Wick says the value is on the under. It lands somewhere around 190-ish. Sweaty Butcher liking the under as well. We got Dale Robinson joining us. What do you think of this total around 212 right now?
Yeah, I mean, the last game versus the Cavs and the Knicks, you know what I'm saying? In theory, the numbers were saying take the under in that spot. You see what happened. I mean, the total ended up going, obviously flying over. It ended up being steamed up to like 3 points. I'm like, damn, why is it going over? The Knicks, you know what I'm saying, are actually trying to push the pace a little bit, trying to get transition easy baskets. The 76ers are a sneaky team, and because in theory, they're a good under team. They're like the Clippers, you know what I'm saying? They're a stout defensive team, but they like to run and gun sometimes, you know. Obviously, especially when Ben Simmons gets the ball, that's what they like to do. So, I mean, you kind of look at it like it's a low total. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have a feel for the under. Like I say, the 76ers are allowing only 98 points per game. We know that the Knicks aren't a prolific scoring team. So, I mean, yeah, I would be leaning towards the under, maybe the first half under. Like I say, 76ers first game home from, you know what I'm saying, first game from 3 games on the road. That's usually a sleepy spot. You know what I'm saying? So, I would be looking towards the first half under if I was going to play a total in this one.
Okay, I'm not sure what to do at this point, but I agree Knicks are no play, but you're not willing to pull the trigger at this point on the Knicks.
No, I hadn't made a play. I hadn't made a play on the Knicks on this game. I mean, like I said, I could break down all of them, but no, I hadn't made a play on this one.
All right, let's move on to Magic Raptors. I love when these two teams meet. Last time they met, I felt it was a pretty easy spot for the Raptors. I don't this time. Raptors opening up at -4, now -3 across the board. 208.5 was the total. It's now 207. And the Raptors coming off a truly spectacular game. I mean, I've never seen them play so well. Of course, I was sitting on the Hornets at +9 in that game. I don't remember. I have 40 assists in that game. Marcus Gasol goes off for 9 assists. Anunoby goes for 24 and doesn't play in the fourth. I mean, this team was playing as good as they possibly could have been playing, and that concerns me a little bit. Magic have won 3 straight, haven't won on the road all season. Raptors haven't lost at home. The Magic, though, they're barely squeaking by teams they should beat. I'm not sure whether I can get confident backing them. So when we beat the when we beat the Magic last time we faced them, Vucevic goes 1 for 13. He's now coming off being named the Eastern Conference Player of the Week with 21.7 points, 14 boards, 4 assists. I know he wants another shot, and we don't have Ibaka to back up Gasol, so it's going to be an easier spot. Jonathan Isaac was a problem last time we faced him, and he's missed 2 straight games with a sprained ankle. Farouk Aminu's been good. Fultz is starting to play better. I'm very excited about watching this game tonight. Magic, Raptors. You have an angle or a lean here?
Yeah, you know damn well I got an angle, a lean, a play, all that. I want to ask you, are you, and this is something that I asked Junior before as well on the spot where, you know, I was against the Raptors. I want to ask you, are you on the Raptors?
I'm very concerned to back a team after they play better than I've ever seen them play.
And it's not only that. I mean, and they were playing a horrific defensive team. I mean, I'm not going to say Hornets defense is terrible, but that game just got away from them. I mean, it wasn't – it was really the second half where it just absolutely pulled away from. The first half really wasn't too bad, you know what I'm saying, if I'm not mistaken, if I can recollect right. The Revenge Game J, man. That's the first thing I wrote down on this one, man. Revenge Game J. Obviously, they just the team won by 9 points already. I mean, they played on October 28th already. Toronto only won by 9 points in that game. And Orlando Magic, that's when they were playing absolutely terrible. You look at the past 5 games, they were all home games, granted. But, you know what I'm saying, you look at the Magic past 5 games, they're second in offensive efficiency, man. They're starting to get it going. I know they're stepping out on the road here. Like I say, revenge spot. It's still and I was on the Magic in the last game. You know what I'm saying? End up taking the L. Still, I was on the playoff revenge, all that. I still thought that the Magic could give them fits in. No Larry in this spot. How much did he have last game? He had 26 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Not in this spot. Ibaka, 9 points, 10 rebounds. He's not there. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's a revenge spot. On the last 5, the Raptors are 25th in offensive efficiency. They're missing Larry out there. I mean, people don't want to admit it. They had a damn good game, and that's another angle. That's something I was going to even throw in. How good they played the last game. The fact that it's a revenge spot, it's still playoff revenge. They've lost 5 straight to the Raptors here. You know, this is a Magic spot here, and I got on it at 4 and 3.5. It's moving down to 3. Isaac is gonna play today, man. I like the Raptors here, man. I like the Magic here, and I might have to hop on the money line as well. I should have been hopped on it, but I mean, I was comfortable with the points. It could come down to you know what I'm saying, a last possession spot. So I'll be happy to take those 4 points, 3 points. I like the Magic here, man. It's a revenge spot. Like I said, they've been playing well past 5 games. It was at the house, but they're starting to get it clicking. Offense is moving now. They getting out on the run. Fultz looking like a new player over there. Give me the Magic in this spot, man. Revenge game, Jay.
Look, I love that you have the balls to take an 0-4 team on the road against a 5-0 team at home and only getting 4 points, now 3. Other cappers are seeing what you're seeing. And I respect that you can pull the trigger. I'm not going to pull the trigger.
Jim, and you're right. Yeah, they are. You're right. They're 0-4 on the road. But my question is, why was the spread the same? I mean, it was -5 early in the year. Magic playing terrible. Raptors, obviously, you know what I'm saying, was still undefeated at the house. They had Lowry and Ibaka. Why was it 4? You know what I'm saying? Why were they -5 at the first game and now -4 here? That's disrespectful, man. Give me the Magic.
That was before the Raptors went out west and laid their balls on the face of the Lakers. You know?
Yeah, they've been playing well lately, but like I say, in this particular spot, I think this is one of the spots where they're going to miss Larry. I mean, like I said, when you look at the stats, man, what Larry poured in last game, you really look at it, they didn't pull away from the Magic. They didn't blow them out in that past game. They won by 20 or 30. Okay, I could see it. But then with them only losing 9, they came in there and played a damn good defensive game, and their offense was way more terrible than it was now. This is just a spot that I have to take. I mean, in most revenge spots, I mean, I'm going to look at it deeply. This is one that I'm taking. I mean, I liked the Magic last time. I'm going to take them again in this spot. If I lose, hey, I just lose. But it's a spot before the game where I think that the Magic are coming here and getting their first road win.
I love it. I love it. And Nilo says, remember, J Money is money. Plays are always great. Look, I know. So let's go to this total. Maybe my fandom is going to get in the way in this spot, and I'm just not, but what is the total? The total opening up at 208.5, now at 207 or 206.5. That's a low total. What do you think?
Yeah, it is pretty low. Like I say, man, the Raptors are going to try to slow it down. Obviously, I mean, that's what they've been doing. They're playing defense. Like I say, that game just got away from the Hornets. That was pretty surprising to see them go up and put it 132. They look damn good versus the Hornets. I don't think the Raptors are dead. I mean, like I say, I'm not shitting on them. I still think they're a good team. They got good pieces over there. But Van Fleet is a streaky player. If he's not really going, and we know Siakam's going to get his every single night. The rest of the team is pretty much just role players. I mean, somebody would have to go off, or you have to be facing a terrible defense. The Magic gonna come into play in this game. Like I say, the reason why I'm staying away from total because of that last 5. The Magic offense is getting going, even though it was at the house. It just needed a little spark, man. Right now, in theory, they're a hotter team, even though some close wins. They beat the 76ers pretty soundly. I know Embiid didn't play in that game, but like I say, I mean, we probably spending too much time. And it's not a max play or anything, but I mean, I like the Magic here. And as far as the total, I'm staying away from it because I think the Raptors gonna try to slow it down. The Magic are been playing a little bit faster.
I kind of feel like it's low enough to get over. But I'm going to hold off there. Let's move on to Milwaukee, Atlanta, Bucks, Hawks. Bucks open up at -10, now 10.5, 111. This total opened up at 233, now 232. Hawks, another team that can't rebound. I know it doesn't help having Collins out. They've lost 6 of their last 7, coming off a 1-4 West Coast road string. And they didn't just lose some of those games, Jay. They got destroyed. 49 by the Clippers, 21 by the Lakers. They trailed by 25 in the first quarter against the Lakers. Lakers could have beaten them by 40 had they wanted to. Trae Young scores 31 against the Lakers, but last year against the Bucks, he only averaged 17. They're now 2-6 without Collins. Jabari Parker is just an average player. and he can't step up and fill that void. Bucks have won 4 straight, 8 of 9. They won 3 of 4 games against the Hawks last season. Average margin of victory, 19.7 points. 19.7 points. This is a dangerous team, but no Chris Middleton. Brogdon gone in the offseason. Bucks, Hawks, how are you handling this?
Yeah, I stayed away from this one. I can't tell you there's too many points, though. I mean, it was minus 11. Now you see it tick down to 10.5. All these spots, it's some of these teams where they really getting out of hand with some of this shit, man. I mean, laying 11 on the road. I know the Hawks have been bad, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Most of those blowout spots were on the road. You look at the Bucks, man. They've been traveling a shitload, man. I mean, they had a 4-game road trip, came back to the house. You know what I'm saying? For one game, then back on the road again. This is the 3rd game of their little road trip before they head back to the house. First game of a back-to-back. I'll be hesitant to lay the points with the Bucks here, man. This is the regular season. Teams ain't gonna just keep going balls to the wall every single night. You know what I'm saying? Then to be honest with you, at first I didn't even look at it that it's the first of a back-to-back. That's even worse, man. They're going back to the house tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this is a good spot for the Bucks, man. And I don't know. It's the Hawks or nothing for me. I know they looking terrible. That's one of the things. I mean, they're gonna come back to the house here after that long road trip. They probably pissed. You know what I'm saying? They obviously they've been getting they got clashed, bro. It's 150 to 1-on-1. Oh my God. But you look at that game versus the Lakers. Lakers finna blow them out. They said, no, you know what I'm saying? We finna stay as somewhat competitive in this game. They lost by 21, but you watch the game, it could have been a 30, 40-point win by the Lakers. At least the Hawks had some fight, you know what I'm saying, to not get blown out once again by 50 points, which they could have. I think it's too many points for looking at an 11-point home dog here. I think this would be a sneaky play here for the Hawks.
I do think it's a very interesting sneaky play. Very, very, very interesting sneaky play. Wow, Dan Kelly giving us great stats. Talking about Orlando tonight. Team's 2nd road game, not at home next game. 2 days rest, 5-game winning streak, 5-0 straight up and against the spread. So that's backing your look on the Magic. Wow, that is sneaky and very, very interesting, but it takes a lot of balls to back the Hawks here. First game back off of a road trip. Wow. Okay, let's move on to Cavs, Heat, Cleveland, Miami. Miami opening up at -10. That's where they stand right now. BetOnline and Heritage have moved it to 10.5. This total opened up at 214, now down to 12, to 212.5. Love back tightness on Monday. Not sure if he's going to be in the game. Nance also out with a sprained thumb. Don't expect him to play, but he could be back. He's only missed 2 games. Cavaliers on a 4-game losing streak. This kind of feels like a spot for the Heat not to come in hungry in the first quarter. They are 5-0 at home this season. Bam is stepping up. My goodness, is he playing well? 13.9 points, 10.5 boards, 4.6 assists. And then we deal with the same thing that we dealt with the Cavs last year. They're getting no distribution, 19.5 assists per game, and that's led by Darius Garland. So the Heat have 4 guys that have more assists than Darius Garland. Dragic, sick on Saturday. He may return on Wednesday. Still without Winslow and Derek Jones. Is this a Cavaliers first quarter spot?
Yeah, you're right. You could be up to something there, especially with the Heat being off for 3 days. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I didn't make a play on this game, because obviously it's like 3 players that's questionable. Like you say, Dragic. I mean, I need to know if he's gonna be in there in a spot like this. You need to know. I mean, shit. I see Tristan Thompson ruled out now. Nah, man. Love is coming back. Nance is still, you know what I'm saying, questionable. That's a key injury, you know what I'm saying, note in this game. But Thompson now for rest. I mean, come on, man. You just fucking Cavs. You resting and shit, man. Derek look like Dragic is probable. James Johnson is probable. Then Derek Jones Jr. probably still gonna be out. So I mean, with them resting, I don't know. I don't like this rest shit, man. Especially when you already a bad team. If they had Thompson in there, I'll be looking towards the Cavs. With them not full strength, I mean, the past 4 games they hadn't looked well. For a while there, they were scrappy. They were playing real scrappy against some teams. Them there beat the 76ers at the house. I mean, they just lost to them by 11. Just lost to the Heat. You know what I'm saying? At the house by 11. I don't know, man. I guess in theory, yeah. in the first quarter would probably be your best bet early. If you do like the Cavs, try to catch, the Heat come a little off here, off 3 straight days. But that's the only thing I could look at. I still don't like that Thompson is out there. I think that's bullshit, man. You resting. You done lost 4 straight games. You fucking resting. Come on, man.
And he only played 25 minutes on Monday. That's very, very strange. Thank you for the heads up there. That will keep me off the first quarter at this point. We'll have to wait and see. And you are right about Isaac playing for the Magic this evening. Let's move on to Hornets, Nets. Rafa, I might need a little bit more time with Jay, so I'll let you know I'll Slack you and let you know. Okay, Hornets, Nets. Let's get after it right now and see what we are dealing with. Oh, sorry, I'm on first quarter. Let me move to full game spreads and totals. We've had some great success on the Cavs first quarter last year, and I haven't gone back to the well yet. We're doing it in NHL too with Senators' first periods against good teams. I consider the Heat a good team, a perfect team for a letdown spot, in all honesty. Brooklyn opening up at -4.5, now 3.5 at Pinnacle 4 across the board. The total opened up at 221.5, now 219 or 219.5. Nets have lost 4 of 5. Third straight game without Kyrie. What a Jekyll and Hyde showing they put on. They win 117-111 in Chicago, then lose 115-86 at home in their next game. Just destroyed in their next game. Out-rebounded 63-40. Dinwiddie will step up, but we know why Garrett Temple's on like his 10th basketball team. He's just not consistent enough. Charlotte has had double-digit deficits in every game this season. I love what we're seeing from Devontae Graham, man. What a monster. 49 three-pointers, leads the Eastern Conference. He's stepping up, but it was held to just 11 on Monday. This could be a bounce-back spot for him. Charlotte 11-4 last 15 meetings in Brooklyn. How are you handling Hornets Nets?
So I just want to say real quick, the Heat and Cavs is revenge spot. And it's one I'm not hopping on. So I don't hop on every single revenge spot. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to say that real quick. In this spot with no Kyrie, man, you look at the fucking Hornets, bro. They gave up 132 points to the Raptors. They only had 5 fast break points, which is fucking terrible. They allowed 58 points in the paint and allowed them to shoot for 47% from 3-point. You know what I'm saying? They only average 102 points on the road. Then obviously the Nets, no Kyrie, you know what I'm saying? The offense slows down way more once he's out. Offense, 29 points lost, you know what I'm saying, at the house. They off the 29-point loss. I don't know, man. I'm not backing the Nets here. They look absolutely terrible. One thing I can tell you, though, like I say, the way that their pace slows down without Kyrie, I had to hop on this under last night, man. I got it at the 220.5. It's down to 219.5. I like this. Some people liking that with me, man. I could only take the under in this spot, man. You look at the Hornets, not really a prolific scoring team. I mean, they middle of the pack in pace at 13th. You know what I'm saying? In the past 5 games, they don't really push it, run it, gun it. It gave up 132. In theory, they should be pissed from giving up, you know what I'm saying? That, like I said, that game just got away from him, man. I didn't even know the Raptors had that in them, man, with no Larry to go put up that 132. But I don't think the Hornets defense is that bad. I'm sure they're going to try to come back, you know what I'm saying, at least defensively, and like, damn, we gave up 132, man. You got to, you know what I'm saying, after practice that next day, you're like, damn, they ain't even no shoot around. We working on nothing but defensive sets today, man. I'm liking under in this spot. The Nets offense was absolutely terrible in that last game, man. I'm just keep hitting the under in that game. I was already on the under. It did ride the Nets as well before I knew Kyrie was out. But we saw them go and beat a team in the Bulls on the road without Kyrie. So Dinwiddie can, you know what I'm saying, weather the low. They still got a pretty deep team over there. The Hornets not a bet on spot. If I'm taking the side, I'm still not taking the Hornets on the road, even though it's in theory a bounce back spot for them. It's a bounce back spot for the Nets as well at the house. No Kyrie, they look totally different, but you definitely got to link to the under, man. 220 that's a high ass total for this one, or 219.5. I still like the under in this spot.
I think the under makes sense. Also, Matt Randall's taint play of the day is in Grambling State -1. He's got other looks as well. I will go over them shortly, but we need to focus on NBA right now and get through a couple more games before Teddy Covers comes in. And as always, Matt Randall, thank you so much for sharing your hard work with us. The next spot on this card is Warriors, Mavs. God, shout out to Jeff Billings. I was so close to making a move on the Warriors, and I didn't. And Jeff Billings went hard on the Warriors, and reap the rewards. Dallas opening up at minus 13.5, now minus 14. This total's dropped 4 points already. 5 at bookmaker. Opened up at 221.5, now 217.5. Doncic, 42-point triple-double on Monday. The guy's a monster. Porzingis, 3 straight double-doubles. Warriors on second half of back-to-back. Draymond Green stepped up in a big way last night. 8 points, 10 boards, 11 assists. Alec Burks went for 29 in Russell's absence. Glenn Robinson went for 20 points, but just 1 rebound, 2 assists. Warriors, Mavericks. Jay, how are you handling this?
Yeah, and it looked like Nance will start as well. Notifications came from my phone. So Nance will start for Thompson out. This game, I think it's too many points. I mean, the Warriors, they look good yesterday. And I told y'all, if y'all watched the show, man, Jim with Jay Moy, I told y'all, everybody and their mama and their granny going in there with the stroller and shit, you know what I'm saying, betting the Grizzlies yesterday. And it was too many points. I mean, that was the first time laying points all year. You know what I'm saying? It was 6.5, 6. You got to be crazy. The Warriors went out there and took it to them, man. Even in the first half, up by 20, just bust the Grizzlies' ass all night. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they do that again tonight, but the Mavericks don't really do well in these type of roles. I mean, you saw when they were laying 11 versus the Knicks, you know what I'm saying, 14 now. I was shocked. I was watching this game for Golden State, and I'm looking at, you know what I'm saying, looking at the games for today. I'm like, that's too many points, man. I mean, obviously they came to play. Draymond Green got a little banged up even more yesterday, banged his elbow, you know what I'm saying, and his knee last night. Obviously, he's an older player. I mean, they played a lot of minutes. They had to come at the Grizzlies kind of, you know what I'm saying, came back a little bit there and then pushed the Warriors to keep going once again. And I liked it. It's taking even more out the Warriors. It's too many points, man. In theory, Mavs should blow them out, but I'm staying away from it, Jimmy. I don't have anything on this game. You see that total plummeting as well. Warriors' offense is absolutely terrible, and they've been playing some great defense here lately. I can only look towards the under.
Yeah, and it's just been hammered. Yeah, interesting. Draymond Green put out a lot of energy last night, too. I wonder if he could keep rolling. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't take the Mavericks here. And maybe the Warriors early. Let's see what the Warriors are first quarter. I mean, again, I almost want to wait just to make sure Draymond's in the lineup. But first quarter plus 4.5, I'll lean there and think about it a little more as we move forward. But I would lean Warriors first quarter, finally feeling good about themselves. I'm going to add that lean towards the Cavs first quarter.
The Mavericks have been really good, though, Jimmy, in first quarters and first halves. They've been coming out hot. They one of the highest scoring first quarter teams and first half. I'm just saying, Jimmy, I wouldn't look at that, especially. I mean, Draymond is probably going to be leaning towards resting. Like I say, he got banged up last night. He says nothing, but I mean, they know they're not winning this game, man. Tough spot on the road, back-to-back, third game in 4 nights. I wouldn't touch it, Jimmy. There's better spots out there.
All right, I will take that to heart and not touch it. Let's move over to Pistons, Bulls, Detroit, Chicago. Chicago opening up as 1.5-point favorites. They're 1 across the board. Actually, I picked them at Heritage. Total opened up at 218.5, now 221 or 221 in and a half. And all of a sudden, Pistons aren't rebounding. All of a sudden, they're not rebounding the ball and getting out rebounded. Very strange to say that about a team with Andre Drummond on it. And notice as soon as Blake Griffin comes back, they start getting out rebounded. Pistons have lost 4 straight. Pacers, Wolves, Heat, Hornets. They've won 1 of 7 games all year, and Derrick Rose goes back to Chicago where he gets the standing ovations, the MVP chance. Rose went for 23 when he was there earlier this season. Pistons remain without Reggie Jackson, and what were people thinking? That Luke Kennard was all of a sudden going to be a 25-plus point scorer and carry this team? I mean, he's not that good. And he gets pushed around. He gets beaten up out there. Lauri Markkanen, 14.1 points per game. Is that who Lauri Markkanen is? Otto Porter and Luke Cornett still out. Otto Porter with the left foot sprain. Cornett with sinus surgery. Pistons, Bulls, how are you handling this?
Yeah, I could only look towards the Pistons. I hadn't made a spot. I hadn't made a bet on this spot yet. Like you say, I mean, they already lost to the Bulls, man. It was here at the house. Neither team playing well lately. You know what I'm saying? The Pistons hadn't looked good whatsoever. I thought they could get it done versus the Hornets over there. They couldn't even get it done versus them. So, I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough. Bulls have lost 3 straight. Pistons lost 4 straight. You know what I'm saying? I think the Pistons are better than the Bulls. You got Levine and Kobe White as the main scorers over there. Other than that, I mean, everybody else is really low role players. Kobe White's been playing well lately. Levine really not so much. I mean, you see it moving towards the peak, man. I think the Pistons gonna win this game, man. These are the type of games. Revenge game, Jay, man. Last game, Blake Griffin wasn't playing. He's out there tonight. You know what I'm saying? they still need Reggie Jackson. It's crazy to say. They're missing him. They don't really have a point guard out there. If they lock up on Levine, man, they have a damn good chance to win this game. I like the Pistons here, man.
All right, Aline, at this point for me, and revenge game. Jay going after the Pistons here. And Yu Chang Yu says Pistons played tonight. Not a tough call at all. Let's move on to Jazz, Wolves, Utah, Minnesota. Minnesota opening up as 3.5-point home dogs. They're now 3 at Pinnacle, 3.5 everywhere else. This total's gone up 2 points from 218 to 220. And this will be... I mean, this is a revenge spot again, Jay. I want to hear your breakdown on it. Minnesota handed Utah's first home loss of the season on Monday, and they did it without Wiggins, who's been stepping up in a big way. Donovan goes just 5 for 23 from the field. Utah's now lost 2 in a row, and Wiggins now sick after being gone for a personal matter. And the Jazz got Dante Exum back. I don't know how much that's going to help moving forward. Jazz, Timberwolves, Jay.
Come on now, Jimmy. This is a fucking home and home. The Jazz favored by 10 points at the house. They don't like losing at the house. They don't like losing, period. The Jazz are 4-0 ATS last 4 after double-digit loss. They're 11-4 ATS last 15 meetings in many. They're off 2 straight losses. In that last game, like you mentioned, Donovan Mitchell, 5 for 23. That's not fucking happening again. They shot 36.5% from field goal in that last game. That's not happening again. You better hope Wiggins come back. You better hope he's not sick. You better hope he's playing for whoever, you know what I'm saying, just passed away in his family. No layman in this game. Again, the Timberwolves 2-4-1 ATS at the house. Come on now, Jimmy. This is my best player today. I'm all over the Jazz here. You could have I got it on the 2.5, jumped to 3.5. I still like it. This is a fucking home and home. Teams don't lose. They don't lose back-to-back to the same team. Very, very rarely. I'm all over the Jazz here. It's my best spot of the day.
I love hearing that. I'm very close to pulling the trigger with you. Let's move on to Rockets, Nuggets. Talk in the chat to back the Nuggets, and I agree. John Wick saying Nuggets is a play. Cash your money, take it to the window. Rockets have won 8 in a row. The Nuggets play down to their competition, but when they have to step up against a good team, they do. They have the depth of Barton, Millsap, and Harris. Do we back Denver? They opened up at -2. Now they're -1. Total at 223, now 222.5. This is the game I'm most excited about hearing you break down. Rockets, Nuggets.
Yeah, and it's a really exciting game. I can't say. I still think that it's stronger spots out there, and I do see this as a toss-up game. If you look at it, the Rockets won 8 straight games. They've been actually rolling. It's not really a spot that you want to step in front of. You got the Nuggets that's favored out there. You know what I'm saying? Open at -2. It just come down to -1. You know it's going to be Rockets money coming in, but it's money on the Nuggets as well, man. At the house as well, in high altitude. The Nuggets aren't a pushover. You know what I'm saying? The last game, they last few games, they really hadn't been playing well. They kind of broke out there. Jamal Murray had a bad game versus Brooklyn at the house. He broke out in that last game versus Grizzlies. If they bring that same energy and defensive intensity, you look at the Rockets, the past 5 games, they're top of the league as well. Defense, they're playing some defense, man. I can only look towards the under in this game, man. I say forget the side. It's kind of up in the air, really. And Westbrook does like to push the pace, but when Harden has it, he's slow motion with it, man. He's all about trying to hit that step back 3 and getting fouled. And the only thing about the under is with a fucking game with James Harden, you know what I'm saying, and trying to all these fouls and shit. It's tough, man. But before that last game, before they put 132 on the Blazers, the past 5 games before that went under. You know what I'm saying? The Rockets starting to play some defense. This is a playoff type of game. You know what I'm saying? It's under or nothing for me. I had made a play on this game. I think it's better spots out there. This is a toss-up game, Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? You can get in trouble with these type of games, especially from a side perspective. But I like the under. This to be a playoff type of game.
Nuggets are only 4-2 at home. They need to step up against this very difficult opponent. I am moving with Jay on the Jazz at -3, at -113. That's the only 3 on the board. I am going to roll with Jay on the Jazz this evening. Even if Wiggins comes back after missing 4 straight games, after playing so well, I don't expect him to step up here. We got 1 game left on this card. We got to get to it very quickly. It's Celtics-Clippers. This total opened up at 217. Now it's at 218. The Clippers open up at -6, and that's where they stand now, although there's 5.5 at Bet Online. Kawhi Leonard could miss his 4th straight game. Left knee injury bothered him over the last few weeks. They're 7-2 with him on the court, and 2-3 now without him after barely getting by OKC after beating the Hawks by 49. George looking very strong. Marcus Smart sprained his right ankle. We're not sure. He's optimistic that he could play. They'll need him. Tatum went off for 26 and 11 in that win over the Suns. Clippers won 3 straight meetings and 9 of 12 against Boston. And last season, they averaged 131.5 against Boston while winning both matchups. I know this is a very different team. How are you hammering Celtics Clippers?
Yeah, and I was a bit surprised to see the Clippers here -6. I did think they would be the favorite. I was thinking more of -3. I do think this is a little disrespectful. You see it open at -5 and then move to 6. I'm thinking that's a indicator that Leonard's going to play in this game. I mean, if you like the Clippers, you definitely want Leonard in there. It's going to be crazy to see because Leonard and George hadn't played together yet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I say stay away. I mean, the Celtics really are getting disrespected. Obviously, they're one of the top teams in the league over there. You look at the Clippers. I mean, Doc Rivers knows how to outcoach Brad Stevens. They're 6-1 ATS last 7 versus the Celtics, and they've won the past. The Clippers have won the past 3 games versus Celtics. You know what I'm saying? Those are obviously a little bit worse of Clippers teams. The second unit, Clippers have a huge advantage. I'll tell you that. You know what I'm saying? When the bench players get in, the Clippers have a huge advantage, as they do every team. It's Clippers are nothing for me. The Celtics, even though they're getting disrespected, they have been playing well on this West Coast road trip. Yeah, they played the Suns, beat the Suns like that. No Rubio in that spot made it look totally different. They lost by 1 to the Kings. What you think the Clippers going to do to them? I mean, they only beat the Warriors by 5 points at the house over there. It's a tough little road trip for you know what I'm saying, for the Celtics here. It's Clippers are nothing for me. Even though I think Leonard is going to play, I'm not sure that helps, but I still think overall, I mean, I don't think this is a good matchup for the Celtics, man. I think this is a Clippers spot, even though Paul George and Leonard hadn't played well together yet.
Wow, great breakdown. Great breakdown. That's the entire card right there. I do not know what to do with Celtics Clippers. I still want to pull the trigger on the Nuggets. I will ask Teddy Covers about those 2 spots. But wonderful job. Thank you so much for joining us. J Money is Money. Follow him on Twitter at J Money is Money, and watch his show 1 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Saturday. Jamming with J Money, spectacular show. Jay, thank you so much for joining us, and I will be watching you 2 hours. Or I guess what? That's not 2 hours from now. It's just 1 hour from now.
1 hour.
1 hour from now on Jamming with J Money. Thank you so much for joining us, my man.
No problem, man. Anytime, man. Y'all hit me up. Hey, I'll come back on tomorrow and Friday if you want me to, man. Y'all go and watch the show Jamming with J Money every day, Monday through Saturday, man. 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific, man.
I love it. There he is, J Money. Catch him 1 hour from now. We go right from J Money to Teddy Covers in the house, fresh off that giant win for Eastern Michigan that he put us all on. Teddy, thank you for that glory. A lot of guys went on the money line as well. So, added to our pockets, which we're very thankful for. How are you doing on this Wednesday morning?
So that's my job, Jimmy. I appreciate the kudos, but that's my job. My job is to come on this show and give you guys good information. So when I give you good info and it works out the way it's supposed to, that's me doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I don't expect any credit for it. That's my job. It's a rainy day in Vegas, man. It hasn't rained since like thunderstorm season in the summer, so it's all cold and dark. But I'm feeling pretty good this day, Jimmy. How about yourself?
I had an interesting day yesterday. College basketball went very poorly for me, but my morning looks that I locked in NHL were really nice and plus money lines, and then I added 3 plays in NHL, and then I lost all of those. So it ended up being a disappointing evening, but I'm going to make up for it now, and I want to talk NBA with this giant NBA card. I want to start with one game in particular, Houston Rockets at Denver Nuggets. Do you have a feel on this spot? Are you making a move here? Denver is sitting as 1-point favorites, and this total is 222 or 222 and a half. And as you know, Rockets won 8 straight. And the Nuggets seem to step up when they play the best competition and then play down to the level of competition depending on who they're playing. What do you think of Rockets Nuggets here?
So my first lean was Houston. I did not pull the trigger. There's only one move that I made in the NBA tonight, and I think you're on the same game. I heard you talking about it just before. It's a game that makes a ton of sense, and the line is right and everything, but we'll talk about that in a minute. When it comes to Denver and Houston, I'm not looking to step in front of the Rockets right now, flat out. And here's why. All right. We know that at the beginning of the season, the offense was hit or miss. They were cold shooting threes. The defense wasn't very good. During this winning streak, the defense has gotten better and better and better. And we talk about players that matter, that have been in and out of the lineup and don't really affect the point spread. That's Clint Capella. I mean, the whole team is different with him on the floor, offensively and defensively. He doesn't affect the point spread. He was banged up in and out of the lineup. He's back now for Houston. And I'm in no rush to step in front of a hot team that's clicking on both ends of the floor right now. I'm not. And I remember last year, Denver's defense works really well against a lot of teams. Against a team like Houston that spreads the floor and then plays a lot of ISO, it didn't work as well. And I remember the Rockets getting good looks against the Nuggets repeatedly last year, winning 3 of the 4 meetings. They lost the first one, but they won the last 3, and they won a couple of them in pretty easy fashion. And I don't know how to put my finger on it. We talk about important games in November. There are no important NBA games in November. And the players know it. And Denver, to me, is a team that, they haven't clicked yet. The light hasn't come on yet. I haven't seen the Nuggets play that, that defensive dominance that they were doing last year where they were just shutting teams down for like the fourth quarter. Forget about getting a good look. Maybe it'll get there for Denver. I'm certainly not giving up on the team, but I haven't seen it yet. So my lean with Houston, I didn't pull the trigger. Just a lean.
Well, I'm going to leave it alone at this point. And then I expect you're going to say that you are backing the Utah Jazz with Jay Money and I. Is that the play for you?
Yeah, it's the play. I'm stunned by that, especially if Wiggins is out. I've got a report Wiggins has got the flu. He's not going to play. I thought this was a healthy Wiggins line. And Wiggins has been, there has Towns and Wiggins have both played like superstars this season. The T-Wolves supporting cast doesn't thrill me. And you want to talk about a meaningful revenge spot. The T-Wolves just got hot in the fourth quarter and won at Utah. It's their first win against an opponent with a winning record all year. These two teams are very different defensively. And then it was all a fourth quarter. They got hot in the fourth and hit a bunch of shots, and that's how that game went down. Now you have the short turnaround revenge for the better team. Utah. And remember, that came immediately after the Jazz played that really emotional game in Memphis. They came down to the wire with Conley returning home. They were flat the next game. I don't see them being flat here. Yeah, Utah's a clear choice. Clear choice. I wouldn't argue with anyone that wants to make this a step-up sized wager.
Wow, and 11 games on the card. We break them all down, and I'm sitting with 2 bets. One is a prop, and one's a Utah Jazz. Sometimes that happens. You take what the league gives you, and I don't need to force action here. Very interesting spots on this card. Your Bulls in a very interesting spot against the Pistons. I only say your Bulls because you've backed them a few times this year. What do you think they do against the Pistons here at home?
So I'm really mixed on this game because again we talked about the Pistons in their get right spot last Friday, and they went to Charlotte and they had them beat, and then they gave it up in the last minute of the game, and then were hung. There's the span of one game in a week. They only and now they're getting back on the floor. I don't know that I want to step. Chicago hasn't been right from day one this season. They've underachieved to their talent level. They're supposed to take the next step. It hasn't happened. I'm not sure if it's Boylan. I'm not sure if it's the injuries. They're not healthy. Marketing hasn't been very good. He's not hitting shots. So I'm looking at the Bulls as this team may come together at some point, but right now they're not a team I'm excited about. From a spot standpoint, it's a Pistons spot, and I think they might be good enough, but I took my shot with Detroit in a get-right game, and they didn't get right. So now I have to see it before I take another shot. So the lean is Pistons. I did not pull the trigger.
And then we got to move on, and we've been sitting on this card. I feel like I should be able to find more angles there. Okay, let me try to get through this pretty quickly, but I need to ask you about this Magic Raptors spot. Jay Money's second nickname is Revenge Game Jay. And he's backing the 0-4 on the road Magic against the 5-0 at home Raptors. I'm not on the Raptors. Raptors coming off as good of a game as I've seen them play with 40 assists against the Hornets. What do you think about this spot, Magic Raptors? Raptors open as 4-point favorites. Now they're just 3-point favorites. Orlando was barely beat. Like, they barely beat Washington. They're barely beating teams. They barely beat Washington. They barely beat San Antonio. And it's 3 points with an 0-4 on the road. What do you have a lean in Magic Raptors?
So let's start with this, all right? The point spread's telling you what you need to know in this game, all right? Where Toronto seems so easy and, it's easy Raptors, easy Raptors. And at first glance, hell yeah, easy Raptors. Orlando's not as good as Toronto, right? Even without Ibaka, even without Lowry. So I watched the Magic against the Wizards the other day, and that was a very misleading final. Beal got red hot down the stretch and literally, like, single-handedly carried Washington back at the end. They were down 16, and then next thing you know, they're down 4, which speaks to Orlando's ability to close out games. They're not a team you want to lay points with, but they weren't life and death to win that game. They were comfortably in control, fell asleep, and let a guy get hot. Their defensive numbers are tremendous, and that's why the markets are having as much support for the Magic as they are. It feels easy for Toronto. It smells bad. This one stinks to high heaven. Interested to see what happens with Vujovic going back to his former squad. I'm not laying with the Raptors, and that's the only way I could look. The markets are telling me that I don't want the Toronto tonight.
Yeah, it's a tricky line, and we hear are people backing the Magic here. We got a couple questions from the chat, and we need to move quickly. Ronnie Christie wanting to ask you about this Cavaliers Heat spot. We know that Tristan Thompson's resting, and Larry Nance is back, and we're expecting Dragic to be back in the lineup after being sick on Saturday. The Heat playing very well, but they've been off for a few days. They've been off since Saturday, and I kind of have a little feeling about a Cavaliers first quarter sneaky little bet with the Heat not trying hard enough. I have not pulled the trigger. Ronnie Christie asking you about this spot, Cavaliers Heat.
I mean, the Cavs have been blown off the floor the last couple of games, really badly, and it cost me money. So, when I get slapped around a couple times in a row, I'm saying, oh yeah, this is my team, It's a game I'm not playing the game, flat out. I would not argue at all with Cleveland first quarter, first half to come out strong. That was, Bayline was not amused by what happened against the Knicks. And it wasn't any better the next time. I mean, it's been a rough go for the Cavs just the last week. And Nance is a difference maker for this team, but they're not deep, and Thompson matters. I'm not going to get involved in the game. I mean, the one other one that I was thinking about was laying 12.5 with Philly. Knicks off a win. Knicks off a big win. Philly annihilated that team last year. That's the only other one. 3 of the 4 meetings, the Sixers just ran roughshod against the Knicks. But laying 12, and I'll lay doubles much more when we get into the dead time of the NBA season. We start to get into February and March and the doldrums. This early in the campaign, I don't lay doubles very often. So Philly was my only other lean on the card.
We have a question from Anthony Devonti. He wants to know what your thought. Very interesting game. I'm on DeMar DeRozan over 22.5 points in Spurs Wizards. I think he woke up against the Mavericks, and I've watched him very closely throughout his career. This is a team where he can eat against, especially a team that doesn't rebound. Anthony Devonti wanting to hear what you think's going to, if you have a lean on either spot here. San Antonio -2, longest losing streak since 2011, 6 straight and 8 of 9. This total opened up 239.5, now 237 or 237.5. Teddy covers Spurs Wizards.
That DeRozan makes a ton of sense to me, Jimmy. Really does, because defensively, the Wizards are a little bit lacking right now. We can put that, and a little bit lacking means they're horrible. They're Golden State on the defensive end of the court, and the Warriors actually played defense last night with Draymond Green back in the lineup. I would expect them to be significantly better defensively than they've been. So we can call Washington one of the worst, if not one of the worst defensive team in the NBA, which makes sense for betting player props over against them. When you're talking about laying points with the Spurs on a 6-game losing streak, I ain't going to do it. I'm not doing it. San Antonio's no good. They've been a point spread disaster area. Let them show me first. I can understand your thought process, but I'm not getting to the window with the Spurs. They have been flat out overvalued from day one this year. Disaster for anyone who's been backing San Antonio. And when you see a team like that, I'm not trying to catch the falling knife. Let's see him cover. Let's see him win. Let's see him do it again. Then we'll talk about San Antonio as a possible team you want to back.
I agree. I completely agree. And you just have to take what the games give you. And I'm just going to stick with the low quarter. Although, the more we talk about things, I am quite interested in the Cavaliers' first quarter against a sleepy Heat team that will wake up immediately. Okay, there you have it. There's our NBA card right there. So, my action here in NHL and NBA. NHL, I'm loving the under 6.5 a Giant plus money in the Capitals Rangers. I love everybody hammering the over there. You can get plus 115. You can get plus 120. That just puts a giant smile on my face. I'm very, especially after everything that David Quinn has been saying. And look, David Quinn, he cut Michael Haley from the team for that penalty. He benched Buchnevich. This is serious shit to David Quinn. And then in NBA, I'm on the DeMar DeRozan over 22.5 points. I actually already sent it in. And then I'm on the Jazz -3 at this point. But it scares me, David Stewart saying that all this sharp action coming in on Minnesota. But I'm comfortable where I stand. So let's move into college football. We are coming off a nice night there with Eastern Michigan. And a lot of love coming in for Teddy from the chat for that spot that he put us all on. Here we go. I have to start with this Akron matchup. I have to start here, Teddy, because our gas station sushi, who is a fabulous capper, a spectacular capper, lives in Vegas, a guy I enjoy hanging out with very much, a great thoroughbred capper, caps it all. He is max betting Akron at plus 30.5 tonight, and man, do I find that interesting. We have to start with Akron, Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio opening up at minus 30.5. Now there's 31.5. So it's total gone from 45 to 44.5. And there's no more exciting bet that I've heard all day than gas station sushi max betting Akron here. What do you think about his max bet? And are you making a move on this game?
No and no. I have no opinion on his max bet. I wish you nothing but luck. And when a team loses straight up and against the spread their first 10 games of the season, there is, in theory, real value on that team. And when we look at this point spread, we haven't seen Miami O in this point spread. I guess they laid 36 to a FCS school back in September. Didn't cover, only won by 31. But Miami O is not, this is not the offense that's explosive, that's going to march up and down the field and put up points in bunches and score touchdowns on every drive and the quick strike touchdowns. But Akron is the worst team in college football. And when you put your money on point, I haven't seen the effort from the Zips. And I know they got a couple of touchdowns late against Eastern Michigan last week. Okay, maybe that's a buy sign. That was at home. This is on the road. Easy pass for me. No interest whatsoever, side or total.
Ty Clinton is also on Akron as well, saying Miami doesn't have anything to play for. All right, and then a question coming in about the total. 7-Eleven Sports Live saying, what about the over, Teddy?
So I need to understand the concept of that Miami O has nothing to play for, because that doesn't make any sense to me. They're on national. This is a MAC team on national TV against an opponent they can beat. It's not like I don't look at that as a clear flat spot. I don't. Total wise, again, anything you're asking Akron to do, whether it's get stops or score, I don't trust them to do. So when I don't trust a team to score and I don't trust them to get stops, I can't get involved in the total because Akron can't do anything. You understand? They can't do anything. So they can't. And if you watch, if you've watched this team, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. So Mio scores as much as they want to score. I don't know. Opinion on I have no opinion on the game. I'm not getting involved.
All right. I was waiting for Seth to jump on the Akron plus 31, given it's week 13. I was waiting for Seth to jump on that. Okay, there we go. There's Akron, Miami of Ohio. Let's move on to Toledo, Buffalo. Buffalo opening up at minus 6.5. They're getting hammered. They're 8.5 in most books, 9 at Pinnacle. This total is stuck at 50. Actually, it's not. There are 54.5s on the board at Heritage and Bovada. Teddy covers Toledo, Buffalo.
Yeah, so this is why I can certainly understand the Buffalo money. All right, let's start with that. And especially what happened last week against Kent State, which you guys remember, they're up, was it 27-6 with over 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter? And they give up a touchdown, and they give up the onside kick, and they give up another touchdown, and they get 3 and out, and they get a punt blocked. And next thing you know, they lose a game that they dominated. dominated. And now they're back home against an opponent who's, the joy of their season ended with the Northern Illinois loss last week. So I can fully understand the money on Buffalo, but it's already gone. It could have laid 6.5, could have laid 7. Now you're laying 8.5, 9. Can't win that way, especially with single event national TV games. You just can't. If you didn't bet Buffalo early, if you need action, fine. But when you miss key numbers, you're taking what might have been a good bet and turning it into a mediocre or a bad bet. So Buffalo's don't make it look, but the number's gone. From a total standpoint, I'm impressed with this Buffalo defense. They are blowing up the line of scrimmage. I don't know that Toledo's got issues at quarterback again tonight. I'm not convinced the Rockets going to be able to run the football really well here. So I guess I lean under in this one. If I had to make one play in action tonight, it'd be the under in this game.
The under in this spot, interesting. Sitting at 54 and a half. Very, very interesting. Okay, we're going to move into Teddy's action. We're going to talk about the looks he's already given us. We do have a question that's come in about NFL, and I will close with that. We're going to hammer NFL harder tomorrow. Actually, why don't we do that right now? Because it is the Thursday nighter. We can get a heads up on what Teddy's thinking about it. Why don't we start with that? And then I have some interesting questions that have come in. Teddy, what are you thinking about the big Thursday nighter, Colts, Texans? Let me just pull up the line very quickly here. Move over to NFL on the best odds page in the business, sportsbookreview.com. We have a 3.5 strong for Bovada, 3.5 strong for the Texans at home. The Texans and the total opened up 46.5, down to 44.5 at Pinnacle, and the Colts dealing with a ton of injuries and big ones at that. Teddy, you have a move for Thursday Night Football?
Yeah, and look, that SBR odds page should be open all day. Just leave it open in your browser, because that's the kind of thing you see when stuff moves. You're like, oh, I got to move on this. You nailed it. That's the kind of I have nothing but love and respect for the SBR odds page, and it's free. Okay, so I encourage you with that. And geez, man, these morning shows, I'm getting distracted. You were talking about a game that I was interested in. Now I lost track of it.
Colts, Texans,
Thursday night football.
Nighter.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I get locked on one thing. I need more caffeine. I know what it is. It's November. You get gassed in November. All of a sudden the attention span's gone. That's a little rough. Like, oh, what about this game? And I'm like, yeah, I got all these thoughts, and then they're just gone 2 seconds later. Texans and Colts. I'm not playing the game. Let's start with that. I'm not playing the game. Flat out, not side, not total. There's a ton of injury question marks for both of these teams. What happened to Houston last week, we haven't seen. All right, we haven't seen that at all. And in theory, they're supposed to bounce back strong. They're supposed to beat up on someone. And Deshaun Watson, he hadn't lost a game by a regular season game by more than a touchdown since his sophomore year of high school prior to last week. But then we say, how did that happen? Well, it's the Texans' offensive line that has been spotty at times this season, and it had a really bad game against the Ravens. And it's the Texans' secondary that could be missing 3 of their 4 starters this week against Indy. And that's a concern for me, even in a bounce-back spot for Houston. Offensive line and secondary, 2 places where you don't want injuries because the markets don't adjust as much as they should for those. Nothing's more important than offensive line and secondary other than quarterback, obviously. And that's 2 injuries where we're talking about, big problems for Houston. So I'm not going to lay with the Texans. And then we look at Indy, and you talk about an injury report that looks ugly. Does Indy have any skill position talent players healthy anymore? I would expect the Colts to have some success in the trenches. And if I had to play the game, I would probably be Indy plus. But the other factor is, when you talk about the back half of the NFL season, you don't take the road teams on Thursday night. You can do it early. You can't do it late. The long-term sample size is like 40%. And if you're trying to pick into a bag of 100 marbles and there's 40 white ones and 60 black ones, it's harder to get winners. So in general, at this stage of the campaign, the Thursday night games, I'm not getting involved with the road teams unless I have a damn good reason. And I don't here. Easy pass.
Yeah, it was a shocking loss. I mean, mind you, the Ravens are a very good team, but 41-7 was shocking. Just shocking. Okay, we're going to start breaking down Teddy's looks here in NCAA football, but we have an interesting question first. And that is, and let's not spend too much time on it. Oh shit, that's on a different page. Let's not spend too much time on it, but it is interesting enough. Paul Costa says, Jimmy, ask Teddy if he has any gambling superstitions when he's on a heater or in a slump.
So I used to have a lucky urinal. I kid you not. Back in my early days in Vegas, before I had the Sunday ticket, I would go out to the casinos and watch. I would watch at the Santa Fe. It's a locals casino on Sundays because I knew I could get a seat. They had the big screens up and they had the TVs in front of me. And started the fourth quarter, tight game. I'd wait in the bathroom for my lucky urinal till I could get down in that one. But realistically, that was 20 years ago. I'm not very superstitious. There's a guy I won't talk to. This guy's a mush, and he calls me on Sunday morning. I won't answer his calls. My buddy Duke. He's a mush. I've never seen a person that's more of a mush than this man. So I guess there's a little superstition. But I don't have lucky underwear or stuff like that. I'm relatively light on the superstitious side at this stage.
I am as well. I am, don't really believe in luck that much, but I, sometimes when I'm losing and Pete got me into, keep wearing a jersey or keep wearing Pete had this blazer that we all thought was hilarious that I would wear when I was losing badly in baseball to try to get out of the slump. I can understand when you're slumping, but when you're winning, I just try not to let that stuff get into my attention. Okay, let's move on. So Teddy's plays that he gave us already, Eastern Michigan plus 4.5 cash. Now, Eastern Carolina minus 13.5. He crushed that market move. Illinois plus 14. Texas plus 5.5. San Jose State minus 4.5. Beating line moves is what he does. Now, you were thinking about Memphis, Nevada, Marshall. Have you made any additions to those 5 plays you gave us on Monday?
Yes, I have. I've made 3 additional bets, and I've probably given up on 1. Marshall got to 7. I'm probably not going to get there. The more I thought about that game and how big that game was last week for Marshall, the less I wanted to lay. And especially the 6.5's gone to 7. I'm off that game. That being said, I put Memphis minus 14 in my pocket yesterday, betting number 119 at South Florida. That number is disappearing quickly. I'd get involved sooner rather than later. And I put Nevada plus 14 in my pocket at Fresno. And that might go higher. I didn't get the best of it with Illinois. That number's gone higher. That's fine. Let it go higher. Maybe we'll get another unit down in Illinois before this week is through. But Memphis and Nevada. And I made 1 additional play on a rogue line, betting number 194, Tulsa minus 2.5. Bookmaker had a 2.5. Do they still have a 2.5? They might. But there was a rogue 2.5 on that game. I don't even know if Smith is going to play. I was looking all over for it. And I couldn't find accurate info on it this morning. I will look again tomorrow. But I thought that Tulsa at 2.5 against Houston, I don't want Houston this week. And I didn't know that there was only 2.5 out there. I'm like, let's put it in my pocket. I wouldn't argue with a 3 in that game as long as Smith plays. Even if Smith doesn't play, the line will crash and then we'll get a better number. So, but I put 2.5 in my pocket with Tulsa. That's, again, betting number 194. I like the Hurricanes coming off a bye and their opponent. I'm not convinced Houston has a lot left in the tank.
Tulsa minus 2.5, Nevada plus 14. And what was that you got on Memphis?
Memphis minus 14.
Memphis minus 14. There's Bookie Lover Q in the house. Bookie Lover Q, you've been gone for a little bit, and everybody's been asking about you. So very nice. I'm very happy to see you back in action. Says everyone been killing the books. Business taken off beyond my wildest dreams. Had to switch my schedule, but I'm always thinking about you and the fam. Okay, that makes me feel great, Bookie Lover Q. A lot of people asking about you. You have... You definitely made an impact on a lot of our lives, Bookie Lover Q. Okay, there we go. So those are Teddy's additions to Eastern Carolina, Illinois, Texas, San Jose State. He's added Nevada, Memphis, and Tulsa. And we have questions coming in right now. Questions coming in. And also, I'm going to go over Matt Randall's action as well. We love that you've sent that, Matt Randall. Okay, the questions coming in. Sorry, let me go back to the other page that I had everything on. And Dutch Boy Fresh, getting it started here. Dutch Boy Fresh, wanting to know what you're thinking about this spot. Oh, sorry, got to move back to college. My fault. Let me just get back to NCAA football. Spreads and totals here. Was stuck on NFL. About Utah State. And let me move over to it. I believe it's 214. Let me find it here.
Yeah, it's down near the bottom. I got it. 213, 214. Yeah.
Beautiful. He's wondering what you think about this market move towards Utah State, because there's 8.5s on the board now, opened at 7.5. 8.5 point dogs now. Utah State at home against number 20th ranked Boise State. Are we starting to get value on the home dog?
We need to hold off on this game big time because both quarterbacks are questionable. All right, and whatever money we're seeing is from injury reports coming out of practice on the two QBs, and you don't want. I don't want Utah State without Jordan Love. I'll put it that way. And Love undisclosed injury. I found nothing about it, but it's definitely worth paying attention to. He's an impact player, straight up and against the spread. And Backmeyer's questionable for Boise, and I mean Boise's done okay without him. They're better with him. So that's a situation where we got to follow those injuries and pay attention to the quarterbacks and see everything you can find at a practice today. And we'll see if we can get more info.
All right, so let's hold off on that spot right now. And speaking of these late games, quick take on Hawaii going from -1 to -3. Do you agree with that market move?
No, I don't agree with the market move. The market's crashed on San Diego State. We talked about that, and they have. And I mean, my number's been legitimately off the last couple of weeks. The market number with the Aztecs, and I understand that the Fresno game last week they only won by 10 points. If you watch the game, it was complete domination. San Diego State sometimes has there's a force field in front of the end zone for that squad sometimes. And you don't want that against Hawaii. The offense 17, 24, 26, 27, 20, 13, 17, their last 7 games. Or what's that? Yeah. And they're not lighting up the scoreboard. And yet, I trust their defense. I watch them move the football. And I say, one of these days, this offense is going to click. They're better than Hawaii. If they show up, they'll win.
That's very, very interesting. I could have predicted that that's what you were going to say, and that's why I asked you about it. Let's move over to 25th ranked Virginia Tech. They opened up at -3. Now they're at 4.5 at Pinnacle 4 everywhere else. Did we miss our spot to back Virginia Tech? Do you agree with this market move? It's also gone from 48.5 down to 46. So moving towards the under and moving towards VTech.
I do agree with both of the line moves. And certainly, anytime you're getting down at a number that's already moved past key numbers, you're getting the worst of it. I understand people want action, but at a minimum, you got to bet less. At a minimum, you got to bet half units there instead of units. And you can do it, but track your results on those plays versus everything else you're betting. See if you're catching, if you're getting stuff after because I'm not talking about if you missed a half point on Monday, that can happen. But when you start talking about, I missed a 3 and I missed a 4, and now I'm going to lay 4.5. That's why we do this early in the week. And you can get, again, it's not going to kill you, but I would not be betting full units at bad numbers. I wouldn't. I think Virginia Tech's better than Pitt. I think maybe a notch or two better than Pitt. I look for Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech still has a path to the conference title. If they win here and then they got Virginia next week. Yeah, absolutely. Hokies are pass for me.
Hokies or pass. Okay, we've got to put a bow on this show. We have a lot more college football to get to, but we have Teddy every day of the week here, so let's not panic that I needed help. It was me being selfish on the NBA card right now, so it was me, and I apologize for that. We'll get more questions coming in. Quickly, Teddy, very quick take, because I know we got to go, but Farshad Asami wondering what you think about the big Cowboys-Patriots game, and we'll talk more about it, but any first feels, any first angles on that giant Cowboys-Patriots look?
So I'm not playing the game, all right? I don't believe in New England, and I don't trust Dallas. And that's just that simple. The Patriots are vulnerable, and when they face a good team, they're going to get beat. And I'm not convinced that Dallas is that good team. So it's going to be I will not play that game. But recognize that line's not getting a 7. It's not getting a 7 for a reason. There's market disrespect creeping in for New England again, and I think deservedly so. The both of these teams have pretty much only beaten patsies for the majority of the season.
Very quickly on this spot here, opened at 46, the total down to 45.5. Dallas's defense is not good. I mean, this was a defense we thought was going to be top 3 or top 5. They may be bottom 10. Maybe I'm being a little harsh, but I want to go over this total. What do you think of that? I know that New England can stretch D with long passes, but I think this goes over the total because we know Cowboys' offense is rolling.
I don't want to bet this game over. I would, in fact, if I had to make one bet, it would be under. Because the Patriots' defense is good, all right? And the Cowboys' defense didn't play great last week, but that's not a bottom-tier defense. You know, their defense is just fine. And I would think that when Dallas has the ball, New England's defense is going to have their fair share of success. And when the Patriots have the ball, that offense is all dink and dunk. And I think both teams are going to want to keep the opposing team off the field offensively. And I would expect long drives as opposed to quick strikes. Lean under.
Okay. We got lots more time with Teddy Covers. He'll be here tomorrow morning and Friday morning at 11:50 Eastern time. Teddy Covers, thank you so much for joining us. Follow this man on Twitter. If you're not, Lowbaggers everywhere, follow this man on Twitter at Teddy_Covers. Teddy, have a great Wednesday and can't wait to work with you again tomorrow morning, my friend. Thank you for all your hard work and insights.
Hey, my pleasure, Jimmy. It's I enjoy this show every morning, and I really appreciate all the love from the Lowbaggers, man, on Twitter, whatever, in the chat. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Thanks for the love, and have a great Wednesday. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Jazz.
Thank you so much. There he is, Teddy Covers in the house. So there's some looks that I may jump on. I don't have a lot on this card right now, but I may jump on the Senators' first period and the Cavaliers' first quarter. I'm going to need to take some time on both those looks, but that is what I'm leaning towards right now. I'm on the Capitals Rangers under 6.5 at plus 118. I love it. I also want the giant plus line rather than the 7. Let's see if there is a 7 right now. I'm just going to move over to NHL very quickly, and there are no 7s. And in fact, no, it's pretty much where it was. I love it. Look, I just love this under 6.5 look. Makes me very, very excited. I'm on DeMar DeRozan over 22.5 points. I love this look. I just really like it. Let's see, has anything changed there? No, it's still over 22.5 minus 120. I really like it. Ronnie Christie taking the draw plus 325 in Caps Rangers. I get that. I when I go to games, I take the shootout at 9-1 or 8.5-1. But here, the Capitals are so dangerous that why bother messing with them? They're so dangerous 3-on-3. I'm on the Jazz minus 3. It scares me a bit with David Stewart saying that all that sharp money's coming in on the Wolves. Nick Allegretti saying, are you taking any of Maxwell's picks? For today, I haven't gone over them. I was very into breaking down this NBA card. Thought I'd have a ton of plays on them, but just I'm not going to force things. I'm on the Jazz and I'm on DeMar DeRozan. That's it. And our Matt Randall, we will break down all of his plays on The Late Show with Maxwell Smart, but he's on Grambling State -1. That's the play of the day. Dan Kelly just told us that the market's moving away from him, and that doesn't scare him one bit. He's also on Northern Illinois -7, San Diego State -5, Bryant +4, Princeton IU over 142, Stephen F. Austin at +13.5. And he worked hard on these games. Says, love all these looks today. We love you, Matt Randall. Nick Arcuri saying Spurs -2, the play of the night. Yeah, man. Seth saying Sienna is the play of the day. We're going to have Maxwell Smart breaking down the whole college basketball card. What a treat it is to hang with you guys, to roll with you guys, to run with you guys, to cap with you guys. Let's have a big day. No afternoon action, but let's have a good day of studying, get back on the Late Show, and destroy this card this evening. I need a big winning night. Most importantly, though,
Leche, a Los Bookmakers.